Present the ultimate guide to automatic super smelting in Minecraft. This video only showcases super smelters that go up to 32 furnaces at a time, so if you are that freak who wants even higher efficiency, say so in the comments so I will know to make a separate video about even bigger super smelters. These machines are very simple if you know how they work, and I don't want to just make a trash tutorial that says place a block here and there. In this video, I will show you how to customize and design any sort of super smelter that you desire for your world or server. I do recommend building it first in a creative testing world before trying to build it in survival. I timed the speed of each super smelter shown in the video smelting 3 stacks of cobblestone. That involved the distribution, the smelting, and the collection. The 8 furnace super smelter took 4 minutes and 10 seconds. The 16 furnace super smelter took 2 minutes and 13 seconds. And the 32 furnace super smelter took 1 minute and 35 seconds. You may be confused by the results because it doesn't actually double in speed each time, but it actually makes sense because there are a lot of factors that go into it. Okay, enough of the introduction and now for the guide. So, the base super smelter consists of 1 or more furnaces that have 2 inputs and 1 output. The hoppers directly on top of the furnaces funnel the items that you want to smelt, while the hoppers on the side of the furnaces funnel the fuel, which can consist of wood, coal, charcoal, sticks, and other things, including bamboo, which is what we will be using since it can be farmed automatically. The output chest is where all your smelted items go. As you can see in this older design, the output chest can be anywhere you want it to be, and I will show you how to do that using item streams and dispensers later in this video. Simple 2x2 super smelters like this one here can come in many designs and are useful in early game. You can slap on a mini bamboo farm like it is here, but it is very impractical and has a very small yield. Now, the 8 furnace super smelter is where you start to get good speed in smelting items compared to the starter 2x2. For the record, you don't actually need glass or quartz, but it looks nice. You can choose any block you want. If you either don't need or have the resources for the 16 or 32 furnace super smelters, then this is the one for you. In the past, I would use 0-tick bamboo farms to power the super smelters, but that got patched, which is actually the reason for me making this video. My oldest public video on this channel is actually a tutorial on making a 32 furnace super smelter using 0-tick farms. I bring that up because in terms of an automatic fuel source for this one, you have 2 options which are both not very fitting for this size. You can either use the flying machine bamboo farm, which I will show you how to make later in the video, or you can make a larger version of the observer-based farm that I showed you earlier in the video. The issue is that both of these options are pretty resource heavy compared to the smelter itself. You could use coal, lava, or other fuel sources, but this guide is about automatically refueling super smelters. Get out of here if you want the regular super smelters. The chest on the left is where you put the items you want to smelt, and the right chest is where the smelted items go. The design is basic. The bamboo gets pushed into the item stream and goes into the hoppers, but when the hoppers are full, it goes into the lava to prevent lag from tons of items stacking up. You could just have a hopper pick up the extra items, but it's really your choice. You could have even more than 1 row of hoppers storing bamboo for the furnaces. You could even go as far as having double chests full of bamboo for each furnace like this. And that applies to every super smelter in this video. Now, the other portions of the machine is the distribution of items across the furnaces and the collection system. The hoppers under the furnaces pick the items out of the furnaces and put them in this chest. The hopper minecart under the input chest picks up over 16 items when the chest is filled, gets released by the piston, and distributes 2 items to each furnace. Once again, this applies to all the super smelters in this video. The incline detector rail is achieved by placing a rail a block higher and then destroying that higher rail. It remains that way until updated by placing a rail next to it or breaking it. The hopper minecart is intended to be this way so that it can be held in place by the piston. I don't think I need to explain how the rails work other than you power the powered rails and then you power the block at the end of it so the minecart returns when it hits the block. The way the hopper minecart is released when you have placed items in the chest that need to be smelted is that the hopper minecart picks up items, the comparator detects it, And the repeaters that are both set to 4 ticks are powered and unpowered so that the piston retracts. You want more repeaters for more delay when you need the hopper minecart to pick up more items for the bigger super smelters. It is imperative that you know how item streams work when building these smelters. If you already know how they work, then skip this short explanation. In this first example, the item is dispensed and flows toward the sea lanterns. One water source can only travel 8 blocks, so you have to have multiple water sources that are broken up by half slabs, signs, and even pressure plates over some form of ice. The slab, sign, or pressure plate gives room for the item to move past it while stopping the water from flowing backwards. The ice keeps the item's momentum from dissipating, which is very important. This third example shows that you can have items go in any direction you want, whether it be sideways, up, or down. In this situation, you need half slabs to prevent the items from going back and forth, and so it goes straight up the item elevator. Soul Sand propels items and players upward when placed beneath water source blocks. In this example here, you can see that the Soul Sand elevator only propels the item upward if all of the water blocks are source blocks. Quick note, if you see chests that open even though there looks to be a solid block over them, they're actually stairs that are backwards. And another quick note to remember is that when powering blocks, know that certain blocks like glass cannot be powered. Now I am going to show you how the bamboo farms work. They utilize flying machines that fly 1 block over the base bamboo stalk so that all the bamboo is broken except for the bottom layer so it can regrow. It is collected by a hopper minecart system that goes directly beneath the dirt layer. The flying machine is actually super simple to build. It just needs 2 sticky pistons, 2 observers, and slime blocks. The return stations, however, need to be made of immovable objects like obsidian or furnaces. I did make them on my own, so I don't know if they're the best design, but they work. How they work is that the flying machine reaches a return station, the observer detects it, and the repeater sends a signal through the redstone to activate the trapdoor. The observer underneath the trapdoor sees that it opens, and so it sets the machine back off towards the other end. The way to stop it from going back and forth forever is to keep the trapdoor permanently powered so it doesn't update the observer. In this example, I'm using a lever to do just that. Also, make sure to set the repeater to 4 ticks so that this doesn't happen. You can add slime blocks to either end of the flying machine so that it breaks even more bamboo. There is a limit though. You might notice that there are a bunch of leaves around the bamboo farms. This is because they can't be moved by slime blocks. You could just add any block to the edge and it works perfectly fine, but there are certain parts that need leaf blocks. You absolutely need them here to keep the bamboo from being flung out of the farm by the slime blocks, but also not to be moved by them. Since it's staggered here, this side doesn't need leaf blocks. These water streams catch a lot of bamboo and funnel them back into the item stream for maximum efficiency. Also, you may notice that there are 2 farms for each of the 32 furnace super smelters, but that is optional. You could make one big farm and funnel all of the bamboo into one item stream like this example here, but it is all up to you. You can make the farms as big or small as you want. You can locate the farms wherever you want because all you need to do is funnel the bamboo into the furnaces. An example of that is actually here with the 16 furnace super smelters bamboo farm being arbitrarily connected to the super smelter using water streams. Another important detail is that, as the sign says, the bamboo can grow up to 16 blocks tall, so you need a wall the same height or 1 block taller to keep the bamboo from breaking and falling outside of the farm where it cannot be picked up. Now, to finally stop explaining the bamboo farms, see the 16 furnace super smelter. Notice that it has the exact same design as the 8 furnace super smelter regarding the distribution of the input, except for that it has 2 extra repeaters to extend the pulse just enough to allow the hopper minecart to pick up over 32 items. It used the same circuit and just extends the rails and furnaces. The exception between that and this is that this has the bamboo farm already connected. Notice the comparator facing the very last hopper. Comparators give a redstone signal strength dependent on how many items are in the hopper or chest that it is facing. But if the hopper has fewer items, it gives a smaller signal strength. And as you can see in this example here, the chest full of bamboo gives off enough signal strength to power the redstone lamp, while the one that's only half full doesn't. You can see if redstone is powered or not by seeing if it emits particles or not. However, by using repeaters, we can set a lower number of items that would have to drop past in order to activate the lamp, or in our case, activating the farm. The comparator detects if the super smelter needs to be refueled and sends a signal acting like the lever in our earlier example of the flying machine to turn it on or off. You don't want the farm to turn on the moment one piece of bamboo is used, because thousands of bamboo will flood the water and it will go straight into the lava. But also, you don't want to wait until the farm is completely empty, because then you can't smelt anything until it refuels. Although really, you can do anything you want, it's your farm. The way to accomplish that would just be to have a comparator with a repeater right behind it. The repeater being set 8 redstone dust away from the comparator, like in the earlier example, achieves the purpose of turning the farm on when the storage of bamboo is past half empty. Now, it's time to show how the bamboo is collected and sent into the water stream. It's really quite simple. There are a bunch of these modules right below the layer of dirt. Placing the rails can be really tricky, and you don't want them to loop. You can get them both to straighten out by placing a farther rail and destroying it after. The minecart has 2 sets of powered rails halfway through its 2-lane track that loops, and on one end it has 2 powered rails connected to a redstone block in a specific fashion so as not to mess up the circuitry. In this example here, you can see that the redstone block prevents items from passing through the hopper. On the other end of the railway, you have an unloading station. What happens is that the hopper minecart passes over the hopper and drops 1 or 2 items. The comparator detects that and powers the redstone torch, which unpowers the repeater, and in turn, the powered rail. Now, the hopper minecart stops moving until it has unloaded all the items it holds. There's one key detail. Instead of a hopper, you need to place a chest, because as you can see in this example, the comparator doesn't even detect the items passing through this hopper, and this is important because the comparator needs to detect the items to stop the minecart for it to unload all the items it holds. This phenomenon occurs because the bottom hopper pulls the items from the top hopper, as the top hopper dispenses the items into the bottom hopper at the same time. This doubles the speed of the items passing through, which causes the comparator issue. Now, the hopper underneath the chest pulls the items out of the chest and puts them into the dispenser. The automatic dispenser, which includes a sticky piston, a comparator, and 2 observers, rapidly spits out the items into the mini water stream, as you can see. This design is repeated for as long as the farm reaches. If you have made it this far into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to really help me out. I've spent a lot of time making YouTube videos, but I have little to no success. So there is a customizable option for the farm that especially people in servers that are trying to reduce lag would want to use. Basically, it is just a line of sticky pistons that pull away a block to depower the powered rails to stop the minecarts from moving. You can hook that up to the redstone line that turns the farm on and off, so when the farm stops, the minecarts stop. There is even a customization to that customization. You can add a switch that stops the minecarts from stopping, and it works the same way. You could also add a second switch that overrides that switch and permanently keeps the minecart stopped. Neither of these things are necessary in the slightest, but you can add it to your own super smelter if you decide to. I hope I explained the bamboo farm aspect well enough. If not, let me know in the comments. And if you want to see this world for yourself, there will be a world download in the description. Now, before I get to the next part, I want to show you that you can move around the output chest or chests using item streams and the aforementioned item dispensers. It's a pretty simple customization, but let me know if you want me to explain it further. While preparing for this video, I noticed 2 things that I did wrong in the initial design of the farm. One is that you don't need to have a space between the rails on the furnaces and the bamboo flowing on the hoppers. I fixed that in the versions I showed you. The second mistake is that this big redstone circuit was completely unnecessary for a 32 furnace super smelter. That method is actually important for super smelters bigger than 32 furnaces though, so it wasn't a waste of time designing it. Using this minecart collection system and changing up these timings can actually go up to a 128 furnace bamboo farm. Now to finally get to the 32 furnace super smelter that I actually built on my server. The one here on my server is actually a little outdated and where I designed it initially, but it works well. The distribution system is once again super easy to build. It's just a row of powered rails powered by redstone torches and a simple redstone circuit. The piston goes on top of a block that is the same height as the rail that the hopper minecart rests on. The comparator faces the hopper minecart, has 3 4-tick repeaters, and one 1-tick repeater facing into a block with a redstone torch connected to it. And then on the other side, it's the same thing with one 1-tick repeater and 3 4-ticks. As I said before, you need this amount of repeaters in order to provide enough time for the hopper minecart to pick up at least 64 items to distribute. The circuit is actually super simple, so I don't think it requires much further explanation. In this farm, you can see that there are 2 comparators for 2 farms. As I said before, you can just make it one big farm, but I prefer to do it this way. If you wanted to, you could just have 2 chests showing and hide the entire super smelter inside of a mountain, box, or underground, so it seemingly magically smelts your items for you. However, I personally like seeing the whole process. There are a lot of modifications you can make to the super smelter to make it look better, but that's all up to you. Also, if you want to know, each of the farms shown in this video are 15 blocks long, not including the walls, and 26 blocks wide, not including the walls. Double those numbers if you count for both of the farms. This size works for me, but bigger or smaller could work for you. This is why it's a guide. If you feel that you don't have enough information, once again, ask your questions in the comments. If you want me to do a step-by-step tutorial, say so in the comments. Thanks for watching, bye.